Well, brothers and sisters, God bless you. Welcome to another episode of Faith and Nation. My name is Deacon Alex, and I wanted to give you guys a quick update on the situation in Israel and the hostage deal and everything that Donald Trump was talking about with actually saying that the Americans are going to own the Gaza Strip. So Donald Trump has actually recently doubled down on actually owning the Gaza Strip. And so the question really is he really serious about it? And I kind of starting to lean on the side that he is really serious about it. Now, this could still be somewhat of a negotiating tactic where, the surrounding Arab countries like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Jordan, they weren't doing anything. And now they're probably thinking, well, we can't have the Americans be right at our doorstep. We have to jump in and do something. So I think it's very realistic to say that it still could be a strong negotiating tool. But, they were recently asking Donald Trump yesterday on Air Force One, when they were going to the Super Bowl, and one of the reporters asked him about his commitment to rebuilding Gaza and does it extend beyond his time in office? And this is what Trump had said.
Commitment to rebuilding Gaza extend beyond your time in office?
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as us rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it. Other people may do it through our auspices. But we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back. There's nothing to move back into. The place is a demolition site. It'll be, the remainder will be demolished. Everything's demolished. I mean, you can't live in those buildings right now. They're very unsafe. But we'll make it into a very good site for future development by somebody. We'll let other countries develop parts of it. It'll be beautiful. People can come from all over the world and live there. But we're going to take care of the Palestinians. We're going to make sure they live beautifully and in harmony and in peace, and that they're not murdered. This has been the most dangerous site anywhere in the world to live.
Now, in Trump's defense, I mean, he's right. I mean, there's really no going back to Gaza as it sits. It is practically a demolition site, and all thanks to Hamas, who started the war. And so Hamas or the Palestinians have no one to blame but Hamas. And it's unfortunate that a good portion of the population, they support Hamas. I mean, they are, it's part of their so-called constitution to bring destruction to Israel. And when you have that in your own, fabric of, your supposed country or nation, even though they're not a nation. Palestine is not a nation. It's never been a nation. It's not a nation. But that's for a whole nother story and a whole nother topic or a whole nother video. But to Trump's defense, I mean, he's right. It is a demolition site, and so what would be the logical thing? And it would be to get Gazans out. And Trump is talking about building houses in Jordan, Egypt, and the surrounding Arab countries where Palestinians can go and live there, while the Americans come in and amongst other nations, whether it be Saudi Arabia, Israel, and they can develop that area and become some kind of economic zone. And what I don't agree with is, if, let's say that, for example, that happens, what I don't agree with is I don't agree with giving it to other states, i.e. Saudi Arabia, other Muslim states, or anything like that. I mean, we are talking about the land of Israel. And so if we are going to speak prophetically, Israel belongs to no other nation but Israel. And so, maybe obviously Donald Trump can use a little bit more, spiritual advice. Hint, hint, go to Pastor David and not Pastor Paula White, even though she's not really a pastor. But again, that's for another video. But nonetheless, I mean, Israel's Israel. It can't be another. It's not another state. Prophetically, it has to be Israel. And prophetically, Gaza is actually spoken about to be a peaceful place where people can go and have their flocks and sheep and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be a peaceful place in the prophetic timeline. Now, does that happen before Jesus comes back or after Jesus comes back? And that's, kind of where you're going to get your debate. But, nonetheless, Donald Trump is doubling down on owning Gaza. Now, the monkey wrench in all of this is there's a hostage deal that is, supposedly it was supposed to be for like 6 weeks. It's supposed to come in phases. Currently, right now, we're still in phase 1. Phase 2 should have started last Monday, but because of delays with Hamas and then, Israel blaming Hamas for delaying and, certain types of things, Israel does certain things to counter. And now you have this back and forth blame game going on. And look, that's what happens when you try to make deals with terrorists. That's what happens when you try to negotiate with terrorists. I mean, did we not learn what happened in 2011? Quick history lesson. 2011, there was one Israeli hostage who was taken hostage by Hamas, one, and after 5 years of dealing with Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, Israel finally gave in and gave over hundreds of terrorists for this one hostage. And lo and behold, one of those individuals that was given to Hamas in 2011 was a man by the name of Yahya Sinwar, who just so happened to be the brains in the operation of October 7th, 2023, where Hamas went in and attacked Israel and killed 1,100 and take hundreds of hostages from Israel. And so, that's what you do. I mean, it's almost like, are we going to continue to reward Hamas for taking hostages? Well, that's kind of what's happening when you make a deal for 33 hostages and you have to give over 2,000 terrorist prisoners, many of which are in jail for life for murder against the Jewish people. But one would have to wonder, like, did we really think that this hostage deal was going to go all the way through to the third phase? Did the Israelis, did Benjamin Netanyahu, did Donald Trump even think that Hamas would even hold up to their end of the bargain? And well, that's kind of what we're seeing right now is we are on the brink of this ceasefire deal completely going awry. And now we have Hamas that is withholding the rest of remaining hostages. And Donald Trump was asked about it. And this is what Donald Trump had said.
Can't do that because it's not going to make them look very good.
Is the ceasefire delay that, sir? Should the ceasefire then be off?
Well, I would say this, and I'm going to let that because that's Israel's decision, but as far as I'm concerned, if all of the hostages aren't returned by Saturday at 12 o'clock, I think it's an appropriate time. I would say cancel it and all bets are off and let hell break out. I'd say they ought to be returned by 12 o'clock on Saturday, and if they're not returned, all of them, not in drips and drabs, not 2 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 2. Saturday at 12 o'clock, and after that, I would say all hell is going to break out. And I don't think they're going to do it.
And so this is where we're at now, is Hamas has come out because, again, the blame game is going back and forth, and everybody's pointing the finger at each other and saying, no, they broke the deal, no, they broke the deal. And so now you have Hamas that is saying, hey, we're not going to give out any more hostages until next Saturday, and they were supposed to release more hostages. And so they asked Donald Trump, well, hey, what's going on? what do you think is going to happen now? And Donald Trump says, hey, if all the hostages are not released, then let all hell break out. And obviously that means Israel's hands are going to be untied, and, they're just going to go in and basically just, do whatever they have to do. Now, obviously that's not what we want. We want there to be peace, but let's face it, there's not going to be peace in Israel or in Gaza or amongst Muslim and Jews unless they convert and come to know who the Prince of Peace is. I mean, that's the only way that true peace is ever going to come into the region. Now you can get periods of peace. You can get manufactured times and eras of peace, and, maybe a few years in between here and there. And, and that's what Donald Trump is trying to propose. But, unless people convert, unless people surrender their life to the Prince of Peace, then there's never going to be real peace over there. And that's just the reality. What's happening right now is a very, very heavy spiritual war that is taking place. And it has to do with the land of Israel, because the devil knows that his time is short. There needs to be an Israel that controls Jerusalem in order for the Messiah to come back. And the Jews are not going to believe in him until he comes back. That's the order. There has to be an unbelieving Jewish population in Israel, a state of Israel, a nation of Israel, that is in control of Israel. And that would include the West Bank. And so, are we still seeing biblical prophecy being played out? Well, I think we kind of are. Perhaps Trump has something to do with it. But anyways, guys, I just want to give you guys that update. That's going to do it for this video. Hey, be sure to subscribe to our new YouTube channel, Faith the Nation. A link to that is in the description below. And also follow us on X. Link to that is always in the description below as well. Thank you guys for watching. And remember, rise up and faith the nation.
Fire have to come up on the land one day.